Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. 56 former judges, including those who served in the Supreme Court, have issued a statement in support of Justice G.R. Swaminathan, the Madras High Court judge who ruled on the Tiruparankundaram Subramaniam Swami's temple case and whom the opposition now wants impeached. The 56 judges expressed a serious exception to the impeachment motion. They call it a brazen attempt to browbeat judges who do not fall in line with ideological and political expectations of a particular section of society. If this is allowed to continue, the judges warned, it will cut at the very roots of our democracy and the independence of the judiciary. The letter further added, and I quote, even if the reasons mentioned by the signatory members of Parliament are taken at face value, they are wholly inadequate to justify resorting to such a rare, exceptional and serious constitutional measure as impeachment. The judges also referenced the emergency issued by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1975, a topic the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party frequently uses to attack the Congress. The question that arises is, should politicians do politics in such sensitive cases? We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining me on the program is Mr. Siddharth Yadav, BJP spokesperson, Mr. Rajashekharan, advocate, MHC, president of the Tamil Nadu, and last but not the least, Mr. Nikhil Jain, political analyst, also joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Mr. Siddharth Yadav, I will begin with you. I hope you can hear me, sir. Mr. Yadav?
Yes, I can.
So this is an extremely serious matter. 56 judges have come together. They have formed, if you can call it a consortium of sorts, to plead as well as warn that, political interference in the judiciary is a no-go. How do you respond to this matter, sir?
No, I totally agree that this matter requires utmost seriousness of the nation. This is a very brazen attempt for any political party or political outfits to attack the judiciary and the judicial system of our country. They are trying to send a very loud and clear message to the judiciary that if you don't align with us, then we would go out of the way and bring about impeachment motion against judges and single out judges who would not give judgments in favor of the appeasement politics policy that these opposition parties follow. What is more ironical is that the political parties who always speak about or who claim to be the saviors of constitution have shown that they have utmost disregard for the constitution, the separation of powers, and the principles and the morality of the constitution of our country. The kind of the impeachment motion that has been brought about after the kind of judgment that was given, I think it's totally uncalled for. It also highlights the appeasement politics of the opposition, wherein they are ready and they're so blinded to go out of the way, take any step further just to appease a certain section of the society. And I think keeping in line or keeping at short point the judiciary of our country for such issues is something which is totally unacceptable. But I don't think that this is the first time for the opposition or these parties in particular to disregard the constitutional system of our country. We had seen when the parliament had passed a Waqf amendment bill disregarding the structure of our country, in the federal structure, the DMK had brought in a bill to oppose that in their own assembly in Tamil Nadu. When the Honorable Supreme Court in 2025 had commented upon the DMK on the disregard of public funds regarding a statue that they wanted to set up. That was also an incident when they had flouted what the Honorable High Court was saying. So now this is a series of undermining the power of judiciary in our country and disrespecting the structure, and I think this requires the attention of the entire country. And what has happened, and this all sections coming together and raising the voice against this, is totally, I think, the right track to follow.
And Nikhil, it's not just everyone who's raising a voice against this. It's a group of 56 judges who feel that this is a travesty. This is perhaps undermining one of the sacred and important institutions of not only our country but of democracy as well. And India is of course known for its democratic overtures.
Vineet, respectfully, I beg to differ with that. And let me tell my friend Siddharth, who's himself a very good lawyer, that there is a difference between political interference and parliamentary accountability. The constitutional scheme provides for removal of High Court judges and Supreme Court judges when a motion is moved in the parliament, and there is an entire process for that. You have to have 100 members of parliament, 100 members of the Lok Sabha writing to the speaker. Then the speaker is going to constitute an inquiry committee under the Judges Inquiry Act 1968. The committee will come up with findings. It's only after the committee comes up with findings that the concerned judge is guilty of misconduct, misbehavior, and incapacity that a vote can be made, and only after a vote can a judge be removed or impeached, as it's colloquially called. Now, what is happening here with this particular judge is that it's not a particular order that the BJP is talking about. It is a whole series of events. He had been found publicly praising a politician, which is not fit for the office of a judge. I'm talking about K. Annamalai, the BJP Tamil Nadu president. He had earlier issued a public comment saying that if the demography changes, the country will break down. I am a judge. I can't say more than that. You know what I'm saying. Against him, 8 former judges of the Madras High Court had written a scathing letter in August this year. He had gone into tussle with various bar members about the partisan and the communal and casteist manner in which he was giving his orders. There are a number of complaints against this particular judge. It is not just about the order from the 9th of December. But even if I talk about that particular order, the Madras High Court had settled that matter in 2014, that the Deepam is to be lit where it has been lit for the many, many years. It is not to be shifted to another place. What this gentleman has done is he's given an order to the temple management. Mind you, the temple management did not approach the court saying that we want to light the Deepam there. It was some other communal group that approached the court. The court has now directed the temple, telling the temple where they should light a Deepam, and the place where he's directed the Deepam to be lit is a place that is that is suspected to inflame communal passions. Now, in the face of all of this, it is within the right of the members of parliament. This is not political. It is legislative accountability as envisioned in the constitution. They have written to the speaker. Now the speaker can institute a committee. If indeed the gentleman has done nothing wrong, there is no misbehavior or misconduct on his part, the committee will find such in the report. There would be no voting in the first place. He would not be removed. He would not be impeached. Then what really is the problem? This is not one incident with this particular judge. It is a string of incidents that have been happening since the past 2 years. That is the key issue here.
Okay, fair enough. Justice S.N. Dhingra, signatory and former judge of the Delhi High Court, is also joining us on the program. Sir, I hope you can hear me, and thank you for speaking with us.
Yes.
All right. So, how do you look at this matter? Of course, we have seen both sides of the equation. Nikhil Jain says that there is a particular, disposition that has been exuded by the said judge towards a political outfit, and that is the reason the opposition has put in such a plea. Whereas, the group of 56 judges say that this is undermining the judiciary as not only an organization but also a place, or rather a process which is part of running the democracy and keeping it watertight.
Look, I was hearing Mr. Jain. He's saying that this judge has passed a series of judgments. Every judge is supposed to pass judgments only. He is not supposed to do something else than passing judgments. You may not like his judgment. You may say that his judgments suffer from bias. And let me tell you that every judge has some kind of bias which is reflected in his judgments. You may like it or you may not like it. On the basis of bias, you cannot say that this judge should be impeached when you have remedy of appeal. That is why you see there is a remedy of appeal available to everybody, that if to go to Superior Court, you have a division bench, you have Supreme Court, you can go to them and get the judgment set aside. If the remedy of getting the judgment set aside is there, the impeachment proceedings, initiating impeachment proceedings on the basis that judge is biased towards one community, then you are setting an example that you yourself are also biased. You see, if this judge had been giving judgments in favor of Muslims, take example, not he, somebody else, had been giving judgments in favor of Muslims. Would you have approached the speaker that this judge is giving judgments in favor of Muslims, so he should be removed? Is this allowed under our constitution, that you are speaking in favor of X community or Y community, therefore you should be removed from the judgeship? Why, you see, the first judge who was made in this country elevated to judgeship on the basis of ideology was Justice Krishna Iyer. He was a minister in communist government, and he was made, you see, a judge after, and he had resigned from this. And he was not the only judge. Thereafter, we have several examples where judges with party alienation were elevated, advocates with party alienation were elevated to the courts, High Court and Supreme Court. What does that mean? Each one who is having prior affiliation to the party or to a particular sect or community, he should be impeached, and on the ground that he has particular ideology. This is something preposterous. And then you have remedy. See, the remedy of appeal. Then under the Constitution, impeachment can be done only on two grounds. Your incapacity, this is either because of illness or something, or your malafide intention, that is, and your corruption. If you are corrupt, see, I don't think that this is a case, or in any such case, impeachment can be taken up. He may have praised, and our judges day in, day out keep praising or discarding people. Will you start impeaching a judge because he has discarded somebody in the open court? I know Supreme Court judges who had discarded the Supreme Court bench, who had discarded Nupur Sharma in the open court and said that because of you, so much things have happened. Would you start impeachment against such Supreme Court judges who can start giving remarks in the open court and liking or disliking a person? If this is allowed, then where will judiciary stand? You will be targeting judges of your own choice who do not give judgment in your favor, or whom you do not like, because you belong to another ideology. So that is why this is a very dangerous move, and this attacks the judiciary as a whole. That is the reason that we oppose this move and wrote to everybody concerned that this should not be done.
You're quite right, sir. In fact, Nikhil wants to make a point. Nikhil, I reckon that you want to respond to Justice Dhingra. Let's make sure that we show him the proper courtesy and respect. He is, after all, a former judge. Nikhil.
Absolutely. I have the greatest of respect for Justice Dhingra. Perhaps I was not clear when I was saying that this particular judge has done a number of things in the past. I was not referring to only the judgments that he has given. I perfectly agree. I completely agree with Justice Dhingra that whenever you give an order, there's an appellate mechanism available, and that alone cannot be the reason to impeach or remove a judge. My point is that he has done things in the past that have nothing to do with his judicial orders, but those are conduct that is not befitting a judge. Praising a politician in your state in a public event, saying that the constitution will be in tatters when the demography goes haywire. And these are not judicial orders. I'm not targeting the judge because of his judicial orders. I'm talking squarely about his conduct. And that is my problem. And again, I don't raise an issue with the fact that this particular gentleman was with the RSS earlier. Justice Dhingra has pointed out how Justice Krishna Iyer was a member of the Communist Party of India when he was elevated, or before he was elevated, right? And there have been a number of cases where people have been members of the Congress or the BJP or the CPI or some other party before they became a judge. That's perfectly all right. But once you become a judge, you have to be non-partisan. You cannot be a member of the CPI, BJP, RSS, Congress, anything like that once you are in that chair. And that is the conduct which is expected out of a judge, which sadly, unfortunately, this particular judge has not exhibited,
Okay.
which is why I feel it is within the right of the members of the legislature, of the parliamentarians, to move for it. I'm not saying he should be removed. Let an inquiry committee come out with the report and see whether the charges that have been made by the opposition members of parliament are correct or not. If they're not correct, he would not be removed. If
Okay.
they are correct, he can be removed.
Fair enough. Let me also rope in Mr. C. Rajshekharan, Advocate MHC. Mr. Rajshekharan, you've been listening in to what the other members and panelists had to say on this debate. How do you look at this matter, sir? There is obviously a very delicate, very sensitive balancing act that needs to come up here.
With due respect to the panelist and Justice Dhingra and other panelists, I would say this judge in conversation we are now in should have refrained from hearing this matter for this simple reason. I appreciate his conviction towards the ideology. I really applaud him for whatever he speaks in the open forum as an advocate. Fine. But when you become a judge, when you take the oath, you should not show your color or show your ideology or show what you want to say to this world. As a judge, you should be above all these kind of apprehensions and suspicions. That's what matters. In this case, the impeachment motion has nothing to do with the order which he had passed earlier and now. And the Thirupuram Gundram Hill lighting the lamp is not an issue. He is being moved an impeachment motion in the parliament by the opposition leaders. That is not, no way it is connected. This has been happening for 3-4 months before, since he was doing all sorts of comments in the public domain. He was praising politicians, he was talking about what politics should be, and he makes a lot of unsolicited comments in the open forum. He attends several meetings, politically connected people attend those meetings, which in the open dais he speaks so many things. He has spoken so many things. So all this put in a nutshell, a judge of a high court or a Supreme Court or any court for that matter should set a precedent, should set a benchmark of being non-partisan. Well, that's what my friend was also saying. Say, I have nothing personal against this judge. In fact, I have appeared before him, and he was very, very neutral and unbiased to me. And being the case, he should have refrained, because there is an order of 2017, a division bench order and a single bench order, which clearly and categorically said, it has ruled that the temple authorities and the local people will decide where the lamp has to be lit. So when that is the case, it is a settled matter. And then Chief Minister late Jayalalitha had also agreed for that. She never interfered, or she never went into politicking and all. Now, it is the political parties with their, hired people. The petitioner himself has dubious reputation. So all this is sufficient to establish that this case, this recent judgment and the contempt order clearly speaks about bias towards one particular group. Not, I am categorically saying, please take it on record, it is not against or for Hinduism or against anybody. It is particular group which is trying to milk and encash from these kind of activities. They are hoodwinking, and they are trying to make a case out of which doesn't exist. That is the issue. So we must apply our mind. We must understand what is happening. For more than 100 years, this tradition was there. We had no problems. Hindus, Muslims, Christians live as brothers and sisters in Tamil Nadu. We had no issues. In Thirupuram Gundram, there is a dargah, small dargah, and a Uchipullayar Koil. That means a Vinayaka temple. And everything is fine. Why this suddenly? It is the motive. It is with an agenda. It has politics, more politics than merit.
Okay,
and
that's a good way to sign off, sir. But let me also rope in Mr. Siddharth Yadav once again. Mr. Yadav, more politics and zero merit. But regardless of that, regardless of the opposing voices and opposing opinions that we have heard in a respective and a decent manner, the judiciary is being dragged into something which they should not be.
No, absolutely. I think what is happening now is politics. The kind of impeachment motion that has been moved is politics, because I think Justice Dhingra has very categorically, put it very, in a very wonderful manner of the options that were available for the people who were not agreeing with the judgment. But it's not about your agreement or disagreement. It's about sending a very loud and clear message. It's about sending a political message to the judiciary that if you don't align with us, or you would not fall in line, or you would not give judgments which we like, then this is the extent that we can go. It's nothing more than that. So I do agree with my learned friend who says that now politics is happening in the particular matter. But what is ironical is that we have the liberty to pass judgments on national television and sit and say that it was a settled issue. But a judge who is deliberating the matter, he can't give a judgment on that. If it was, you say that it's a 100-year tradition, it is a 2,000-year-old tradition that the Deepam is lit there. There's a 1920 civil suits judgment. It was upheld by a 1931 Privy Council judgment. If a judge of an honorable court, of a high court in this country is hearing that matter and hearing all aspects, who gives us the liberty that my learned friend Nikhil Jain took of calling that a communal group has approached the court? Who gives that liberty? But I think, this is the irony, and this is the luxury that few political parties and ideologies enjoy, and that's the luxury that they're enjoying in this particular case as well. Nobody has the right to pass judgments on the judgment of an honorable court. If you don't agree with that judgment, go to appeal, go to whatever forum you can. You know that impeachment won't happen in this case. And let me remind you, please don't be mistaken. This is not to impeach this particular judge. This is to send that message to the entire judiciary that if you don't fall in line, that this is what we can do.
Fair enough. We've run out of time, but I appreciate everybody who showed up and shared their opinion on this important matter. We're going to take a short break on that note. We'll be back.